That's the short and long of it. But even though that game's on the horizon, Russ and Kyler MVP talk, we are starting this morning talking about a team that has 2 wins, has a 5% chance to win the division, and is 100% always front and center. Keyshawn, you know this team better than anyone else. It's the Dallas Cowboys. You played for them. You played for Jerry Jones. Jerry edging his way.
We had a full stadium when I played, though.
Right now, it's at 25,000, which is about a quarter capacity. It's a 100,000-seat stadium. This is from Jerry. You may have heard it here in the intro. Just a couple snippets. Quote, "My plan was to increase our fans as we went through the season, and we followed that plan. We've had almost a third of the attendance in the NFL. I'm proud of that. Our stadium is particularly suited for airness, openness, air circulation." Going on to say, some people will say it is, but not when you're doing it as safe as we are and not when we're having the results we're having. Literally, we have had no one report they have had gotten any contact with COVID from coming to our football game. And he is using that rationale to say he slowly wants to ramp up, not down, ramp up the attendance at Cowboys games, by far leading the league in attendance. Remember, when your stadium is that big, your percentage of fans that can enter can be larger.
Yeah, it's just an ouch at this moment. If we were not in a spike with the pandemic.
A little tone deaf here.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't necessarily say tone deaf. I would just more say his explanation to why he wants to do it and not really explaining fully and just why. You know, he didn't really explain why. And I think for him, he has to understand, well, take a look around you. Take a look around the country, the world, as we continue in states, Texas, Florida, you name it, New York, L.A., you just name it, as cities and states continue to spike up, as mayors and governors and elected officials try to bring things down, you want to increase the attendance. I would be on board if that wasn't the case. But the case is that's probably not a good idea as of right now, Bart, to be thinking about. How about this? Think about getting the damn W first. Think about getting the win before you start to worry about who might want to come into the stadium to see another L.
Well, that's easier said than done, right? So he says, you know what? I got to win in something, so I can't win on the field, so let me win in attendance. He's a competitive guy, but what I'm saying is, talk about tone deaf. I think it is tone deaf because when you look into Texas itself, it passed 1 million cases.
Well, see, the reason I say it's not tone deaf because he ain't paying attention to that. That ain't even.
Yeah, he's choosing not to pay attention to it.
So it's not really even tone deaf because he's not acknowledging it and he's not paying attention to it.
And it's hard when you think about, we don't know if anybody's contracted COVID from going to their game.
Just because they didn't report.
Right, just because they didn't report. So he's using the data that he wants. We always say numbers. You can use numbers in any way you want to. I hope that they're using the misters because that's been something that's been, revolutionary. The fact that they have the drones that kind of sprays disinfectant throughout. I understand that he has the ability to pull the roof back and he can use this going through right now. And we know Jerry's all about money, right? Last I checked, the Dallas Cowboys are the only ones that's not in the union, right? They're kind of separate to use their own branding, separate from the NFL. And Jerry's a great businessman. And he understands this opportunity. He understands that's 40% of the revenue. So he's trying to make sure that he can not that he needs it, because it's the most valuable franchise in all of North America. But, businessmen do what businessmen do.
It's amazing because my COVID expert in Jay Will is not here with me at this moment, but we certainly could have the conversation when he joins us at 8 o'clock.
But I'm good with you, though, because I was talking with Alan Sills and all those guys during the COVID task force. So.
That's Dr. Alan Sills, the NFL's chief medical officer.
I love when Zubin do that, man.
But that's important to know.
Dr. Sills, but I'm just saying my COVID expert, because as soon as we talk about COVID, Jay Will, bam, he started to get into it. I really don't, for me, it's just I really don't understand what's right and what's wrong, right? Yeah. Because it's amazing when you talk about restaurants in the capacity of the restaurants that could have to be at a certain capacity. Yeah. And then when you look outdoors, they say, well, we don't really want to, in certain states, they don't really want people inside the restaurants in a closed environment, but they're building tents outside for you to sit and eat in, which has walls up in this closed environment. Yeah. So everything is a little confusing. So when you go back into the Jerry situation, it's like, okay, you got 25,000 people. You want to increase it another 6,000 or 7,000 to a capacity of around 32,000 or so in that area. for what with the last 3 games at home or 4 games at home that you may have? What is the reasoning? Now, if he would have said, I was looking forward to doing this as this virus continued to, go down, not increase in terms of the numbers, we wanted to do that, then I would be like, oh, okay, that makes a whole lot of sense. But thinking about doing it right now, come on, Jerry, man, you smarter than this.
So this is what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out what the procedures is because, when I go over to the Jets, I get my my tracer. I go over, or sometimes when you go to restaurants, even now, they ask you for your name and your phone number.
Yes.
So in case they have to contact trace. Mm-hmm. That's hard to do with 25,000 people. So I'm trying to figure out, are they buying the tickets online and that somebody's going to give them their name where they can contact if it is a spike? So that's
Zubin?
because that's the responsible thing to do, like to be able to say, okay, if you're going to come to the game, you're going to buy our tickets. I'm assuming that they're sitting in clusters and you're coming with people that and then you're socially distanced from the other people. Like, are you going to be able to contact trace and get information? So if it is a spike, you can reach out to those people. And how do you do that?
I haven't bought tickets this year online or anything to go to any games, but I would think, much like you said, how do you figure out the tracing part of it? Is it a situation where you buy them online, like when you go to a movie theater Ticketmaster or something like that, one of those ticket outlets where you buy online and you get whatever group, those spacing? Because when you think about it, it's like, how are these stadiums that are having fans selecting where the fans go to sit?
Right.
Like if Zubin's buying tickets in row 1 in seat A, B, C, and D, well, who has the other 4 seats next to him or the other 4 seats behind him? Is that something that online, that the contact tracing, that you have to input the information, much like when you go into a restaurant?
And how much are owners investing in contact tracing? Because we know that's a thing within itself, to be able to reach out to everybody. You talk about 25,000 fans. Some could be from Texas, but some could be from somewhere else. And you talk about in the midst of a spike, going out and being able to spread. And we know that it comes from people that trust each other, right? So you look at the pictures of the stadium, and they're sitting next to each other. People have their masks down. They're talking to each other. They're getting excited. So it's like, well, usually when you contract COVID, it's from someone that you know.
It's a funny thing, and this is not a laughing matter, but it's hilarious because the people, as Thick Neck said, sitting next to each other, sitting next to each other and behind each other, and we were looking at the monitor there, and you can't tell me the people that was behind the other people, they know each other. They didn't come to the game together whatsoever. They don't even look like remotely they would know each other. But the people in front didn't have any mask on at all, and there was only 2 people behind that had masks on. The other guy is eating, and they're literally like, the space in between the seats, they're literally right next to each other.
Exactly.
And I'm sitting there going, no, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't feel good at all. But,
Jerry's a great businessman.
Yeah, but in this situation, it shouldn't be about business. It should be about health.
My point. But, is it even a competitive advantage for them to have fans in there? I mean,
it's state by state.
I would think
Kansas City has fans.
Yeah.
It's just state by state. Some fans are in Florida, I believe.
Florida's his own world.
Well, but I'm just saying, state by state,
Last 2 things very quickly, one on the business part of it, and that is the secondary ticket market is absolutely crashing because while 25,000 people might want to come to Cowboys games, there are fans across the league that are saying, if you gave me a seat on the 50-yard line, I wouldn't go. So a lot of those secondary ticket markets where you go to get the last second ticket, they are hurting badly. One fact, Jerry dealing in notions and opinions about the COVID. One fact, Andy Dalton back at practice after 3 weeks being out on Monday. Mike McCarthy said he looked great. He's a true pro. They're expecting him to start on Sunday when the Dallas Cowboys take on the Minnesota Vikings. Still to come, one NFL team that might be glad there aren't any fans in attendance, unlike the Cowboys games this season. We'll get to that after I have this from Straight Talk. It's time for some Straight Talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, you crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection, just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot and 100 gigs of cloud storage and more, all on the best networks. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Mid-City